Okay, yeah, we could probably go ahead and get started. Hey, folks, happy Wednesday. Happy middle of week 3. I hope everyone's doing well. So in terms of logistical announcements, I just want to remind folks, just kind of keep up with everything that's going on in the class. So Lab 3 is the one that's out right now. So it's going to be due this upcoming Sunday, and just every single Sunday at 10 p.m., you have the next lab that's due. So hopefully you're kind of in the groove of things now, but yeah, just kind of keep an eye on those. Don't let them creep up on you. Hopefully everyone's going to lab section to get help from the tutors and TA, so keep that up. And yeah, so this is week 3, so I believe next week is the earliest that folks are able to take their midterm. So you should have hopefully already signed up for your midterm exam through the Triton Testing Center. If you haven't, please do that like ASAP. I think you could take it at some point between weeks 4 through 6. Some folks mentioned last time, oh, whoops, that's the same screen I had last time. Some folks mentioned last time that you want to be able to practice for the midterm, including the week 4 stuff. And I didn't realize some people had like Monday of week 4 was when they were taking the midterm. So in anticipation of that, I've gone ahead and on the practice problems non-coding, I've gone ahead and added all the lab 4 non-coding problems even before we release lab 4. I think they should be stable, so I don't anticipate that they're going to be changing. But yeah, so just to kind of recap, every single question on the midterm, I guarantee to you will come from these. So make sure that you know how to do all these and you'll get a perfect score. Awesome. So I think there's no cheat sheets allowed. I don't remember what the Triton Testing Center's policies are, but I believe no cheat sheets, and they'll be giving you a non-graphing scientific calculator. Yeah, go for it. Ooh. Well, I mean, technically I'm allowed to do whatever I want, but I'm going to keep that a happy secret. Yeah. Study all of them. Yeah, go for it.
Well, I've been going over all of the questions with a calculator that's like a simplified calculator that you're allowed to put in testing. I was doing one of the problems where it's like the probability question. And I came into a problem where the simplified calculator is long enough to do some of the calculations for that.
Do you remember which? So just to kind of recap for folks on them. So the question is like, so there's one problem that you were trying, number 5. Oh yeah, probability of number of reads. So for this one, you'll need to have knowledge of like the like binomial. So like n choose 2 or n choose however many. Huh.
Like 64, like dang, is way too big for the calculator. They like will not process it. No matter how
Interesting.
so would you maybe?
Yeah, I could decrease that number. Yeah, let's do that. Let me hide this from you so you can't see behind the scenes on how this works. Let's see. So let me go to staff view, file. Actually, that's okay. I can show you. So this is Prairie Learn behind the scenes. And it's a pretty, I mean, once you get the hang of it, it's actually a pretty cool piece of software, but it's a pain in the ass to learn how to use. But so basically I randomly generate a data set, I solve it, and then I format the problem. So you're saying the number of reads was too big?
The number of reads, like 71 was like too big for like the calculator to calculate.
I see. Okay, let's do a random number between 15 and 25. Okay, there we go. So hopefully that should be a little bit more tractable. And then let me see. Oh, geez. And then for the other part, so the number of nucleotides, I'm doing half of it minus 2 half. Yeah, that's probably fine. Okay. So go ahead and try it out. If it's still like, try it with the biggest numbers. So I'll just kind of tell you right now, the biggest numbers possible are 25 for the total number of reads. And what is this? 12 plus 2 is 14 for the number of reads that matches the specific one that we're asking for. So try that out and then let me know. And then if it's still too big, it worked. Oh, perfect. Okay, awesome. Whew, good save. Very nice. Yeah, and if you notice anything like that as you're studying for this, definitely have a like non-graphing calculator just to practice. If you notice anything like that where like the data sets are too big, just let me know and I can adjust them pretty easily. Yeah, great catch. So yeah, so make sure, practice. Oops, you're not supposed to see staff view, student view. I don't think there was any student identifying information, so it's all good. So yeah, so every single problem will come from these. Study all of them. If you can do all of them, you will get 100% on the exam. So yeah, awesome. Any questions about logistics, about the exam, about expectations? Yeah, go for it. Ooh, so the question was, will you have access to previous questions? So like the questions, like the versions of them that you did on lab 1 or lab 2. So I think if you solved the previous labs, you should still have access to the version of it that you submitted. So like here I can see like the version of it that I solved. So you should still be able to see the one that you did in the past. But I think one thing that's maybe a little bit more helpful is every single one of these problems can be randomly generated an infinite number of times. So like let's say I solve this problem, I think the answer is 0. Darn it. Oh, sorry. Oh, during the test, you only get one version of it, and that's the only version you get, and you don't get to see anything else. You only get to see. Yeah, yeah. So basically, when you start the exam, it's going to randomly generate a version of every question on the exam, and then you'll only be able to see just that version of that question. You won't see your other submissions. Yeah. Yeah. And then you can like change your answer as many times as you want on the exam, but it won't tell you if it's right or wrong. And then like when you're done with the exam, you like submit it and then it'll grade everything. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Any other questions about like exam logistics, concerns, comments? All good.
Would you be
Yeah.
willing to go over?
Yeah. So the question is, will I be willing to go over any of the material? So for today's topic, since we already got through the slides, I was gonna have today be a free for all for whatever folks want me to go through. So I think last time someone on Zoom asked if I could do more Unix practice. So if there's any specific Unix things you want me to practice, I can do that. And then yeah, if there's any specific questions you want me to go through, absolutely, I can work through them. Yeah. Yeah, go for it. Yeah. Oh, perfect. Yeah, I could do some more practice on that. Absolutely. So maybe is there a specific problem that you wanted me to go through? I can go through that specific problem, and then I can just do like general Unix stuff. I don't know if, or was there a specific problem you wanted me to go through? That's okay. Oh, you're looking for it. Okay, perfect. Okay. So in the meantime, while you're pulling that up, so I'm gonna be doing everything on this just like terminal within the within Prairie Learn. So if you go to Prairie Learn at the very top, I have this like Unix playground over here that is just a 0 point, like every single tool that I've installed in this environment, you have access to it just to play around with. So at the end of this course, I'll have a little bit of time during week 10 that I'll be showing you how to compile these things on your own computer and how to like set things up. But for now, as you're just practicing stuff, I would recommend probably like try to stick in here so that you don't have to worry about like installing tools or anything missing or anything like that. And then feel free to like set things up as you want on your own machine. So let me go ahead and open up a terminal. And feel free to like let me know whenever you find the question that you want me to do. Or what? Okay, go for it. Let's see. Let me open up a new terminal tab, and then can I make it like? Can I make it big? Oh, I can click this button. Perfect. Okay. So I have my structured like video game data set if you want me to do that, or I can just come up with like some sequence data sets as well. So yeah, I can do the video game one. Perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull it up. Let's do the Nintendo 64 one because that one I think is the most accurate. Um, so if you want, feel free to follow along if anyone has their laptop. But basically, if you just go to my GitHub account, so my username for everything is Nima SD. I'm not very creative. It's just my name and then San Diego. Then if you search for GameDB, you'll find all my repositories. So I have this GameDB N64 one. And let's play with the data.tsv file. So let me go ahead and pull this up. So just to kind of recap what I mentioned, I think during week 1, so wget is a command that's going to download a file from the internet. -q means quiet mode, so don't show me your like verbose messages, just like just basically download it and like show me the contents. -o is so dash actually let me duplicate my screen because it's going to be kind of hard for me to like work sideways the whole time. Let me duplicate. And then I think Zoom can no longer see, but now I can share my screen. Perfect. Okay. So yeah, just to recap, wget downloads a file. -q says quiet mode, so don't show me any of like the progress bar or anything like that. O, so -O is output the file here. Where am I outputting it to? I've specified dash for the output file, which means it's going to print it to standard output. So if I just do this, it's going to be this like ugly behemoth of just a bunch of games. Maybe it's a beautiful behemoth because it's all video games. Yay. Okay. So now let's say that, so you'll notice one of the columns, the last column has the release date. So maybe I want to know how, oh yeah, go for it. Oh, good question. Yeah. So if you go to GitHub and then like search for me, Nima SD, or you could just type github.com/Nima SD. Oops, that's my config files. Whoops. So if you go to github.com/Nima SD, you can search for, oh, I have it stickied actually. So if you go to the GameDB entry, I have links to all the different game databases that I have. So if you want to do a different console, go for it. But I'm doing the N64 one. Yeah, so if you go GameDB Nintendo 64, the URL is just github.com/NimaSD/GameDB-N64. And then over here, I have a few different files that you can play around with. So I have like a JSON file that's structured. I have this TSV file. That's what I'm playing with right now. I have a PDF file. It's just a histogram. So you probably don't want to play with that because it's not text. And then I have this titles.json file that is basically just serial numbers to title of the game, but no other information. So I'm playing around with this n64.data.tsv file. So if you right click, copy link address, that's going to be this URL over here. Awesome. Okay, so let's say as like a first challenge, I want to see how many games were released in every single year of the N64. So first things first, having everything print just over the whole screen is kind of annoying. So what I usually like to do is I like downloading stuff to standard output, but then I pipe it to less. So less is a program that lets you just kind of like view a file. It's not editing the file, but it's just viewing it. And if you pipe something into less, it just kind of like loads it in the screen and lets you just kind of like scroll up and down. You can even scroll left and right, all that cool stuff. It has like the Vim binding. So if you're comfortable using Vim, you could do things like / to search for stuff. So like I can like search for stuff, or like, let's say I want Pokemon. You can do like lowercase g to go to the top, capital G to go to the bottom. But basically, if you just Google for like Vim keyboard bindings, then all those keyboard bindings should work here, minus the editing ones, because this is a read-only view. It's not like editing anything. So what do we want? We want to extract the final column. There's two ways that I could do this. One way could be I could cut out the column 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So one approach could be I could pipe it to cut and extract the 7th field. So -F is which field I want. 7 is the number. And if I pipe it to less, I'll see it's just the release dates. However, if I have a really, really big TSV file, it's easier for me to think in terms of like, I want the last column, right? Instead of like counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So one trick that I have, if I want to like do something from the end, is there is a bash command called rev. So rev reverses. Actually, can people in the back see the commands, by the way, or should I make the font size bigger? You're good? Okay. You're all the way in the back. So that's, I guess, the stress test. Oh, there's a T. Whoa. There's TVs in here? Oh, that's cool. No wonder people are able to see. Okay. I was like, you people have like really good eyesight. I was like, my 30s. I can't see anymore. So the rev command, REV, basically takes everything that it receives from standard input and just reverses it. So I'll show you what that does. So this is the exact same file, but the contents of every single line are just flipped. So in reverse mode, the first column is the release date column. So for me, instead of thinking like, oh, let me count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I like reversing it. And then I can cut the first field, which is equivalent to cutting the last field in the original file. Oh, but dang it, now it's backwards. So what can I do? I can just rev again, exactly. So I'll just rev again. So I rev the first time to turn the whole contents flipped, cut the first column, rev again, and now they should be human readable. Okay, so then you asked, well, what if I want to use grep as well? Well, perfect, because one of these rows is not a date. Which row? The first row, right? There's a header row that says release date. That's not a date. I want to get rid of that because I only want to look at the actual dates. So what I could do is pipe to grep, and I want to get rid of the line that matches release date. So grep dash v, lowercase v, is invert grep. So normally grep will only output the lines that match what you searched for. Dash v will only output the lines that don't match what you search for. So I'm going to omit the stuff that matches this. What do I want to omit? I want to omit things that match the string release date. So now if I'm going to pipe it to less again. So now it's the exact same output, but you'll notice the first line is gone because it matched release date. Perfect. Okay. So now what do I want to do? Well, I started this by saying I want to look for how many games were released every single year. So some of the dates are just a year. That's because I have like missing information. So if you want to fill these in, you can always submit a pull request. They're always open. But regardless, I'm only looking for the year anyway, so this is totally fine. So I don't want the month and the day though. So what might I want to be able to do to pull out just the years? Any thoughts? Yeah, go for it. Ooh, is there any way I can grep just the force forward? So remember, grep is going to look for a pattern and then output the entire line if it matches. But you're close. What else am I looking for? So is there something that I've already done that looks similar to what I want to do now? I could cut. So cut, by default, if I don't specify a delimiter, we'll assume I'm cutting by tabs. But here I can kind of think of this as this is a hyphen delimited file, right? Because every line just has a number, hyphen, number, hyphen, number. So I could just cut for the first column, but the delimiter that's separating the columns is a hyphen instead of a tab. So how would that look like? Cut dash D specifies what delimiter I want to use. And I want to delimit by the dash character. So I'm putting it in single quotes. In Bash, that means like take this string literally. Bless you. Because I don't know, like if I put the dash just kind of like there, I don't know if it's going to treat it in a weird way. So I'm telling it like literally I want the character dash. And then, okay, assuming that I'm delimiting it by dash, I want the first field. Oh, there's a question in the chat. Could I also cut by specific character positions? Great question. Yes, I can. So I'll do by field first, and then I'll do by characters. So right now, by field, I'm successfully cutting out just the years. But as someone asked in the chat, and as your original idea was, well, these are all years that are in the year, maybe hyphen month, maybe hyphen day format. But regardless, the first 4 characters of every line are the year. So alternatively, what I could do is instead of cutting for the first dash delimited field, I could cut for the first 4 columns, they call it. So in cut, a field is an entire column that's separated by your delimiter. A column is just one individual vertical line of characters. So currently I'm cutting for the first field delimited by hyphen, but what if instead I cut by the columns? And what columns do I want? Again, cut does it one based indexing, which is kind of weird. I want columns 1 through 4, which in this case is going to get me the same thing because every single row has 4 digits followed by a dash. Okay, or they're missing the dash, but that's fine because it's still 4 digits. Okay, so folks are with me. Any questions so far? Yeah, go for it. Yeah, there we go. So the question was, can I see the syntax of cut? So yeah, cut instead of dash F, which is what we're using to cut by an entire field, I'm cutting by a column of text. And specifically, I'm cutting columns 1 through 4. Yeah, no problem. Okay, so now my output is just 1 year for every single game. So ideally, I want to count these. So how can I count stuff? We had it in lab 1. Yeah, go for it.
Sort and then dash U.
Ooh, sort and then dash U. Let's take a look at that. So if I sort it, it looks like this. If I do sort dash U, it outputs the unique years, but it doesn't output the counts. But you're close. You're close. So sort gets them all sorted. And then in week 1, do you remember? Or are you raising your hand or no? Unique dash C. This is a tricky one, but yeah, unique. So normally the unique command, and maybe let me do it without sorting just to show you what unique does in general. The unique command collapses consecutive identical lines. So just if 2 lines that are after each other are identical, it collapses them. So that's why I still get like all these different like 1998, and then 1998 shows up again here. If I sort first and then do unique, so sorting gets every identical line to be consecutive. And then if I use unique, now it's going to collapse them. But with unique, let me open up the man page. With unique, it has this dash C option that lets me also print the count for each of those unique lines. So instead of just collapsing them to get the unique lines, I can get the counts as well. One game in 2002, trivia question. Does anyone know what the last game released on the N64 was? No, I believe it was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. Let me double check. I don't know why, and I don't know why I know that. But let's see. So now another grep activity. So what if I want to grep for Tony Hawk? So I just get the lines that match the string Tony Hawk. And I'm going to pipe it to less because I think there was only Tony Hawk's 1, 2, and 3 on N64. So there should be only like 4 lines. Boom. Awesome. Yeah, go for it. Yeah. Ooh, could I have grepped the 2002? I could grep the 2002. Before I do this, are there any edge cases that this might accidentally also match? It could be in the name too. So I think in this case, oh yeah, wow, Madden NFL 2002, yeah. So a game released in 2001, but 2002 is in the title, it matches as well. But I could grep for 2002 hyphen, but again, it could be in the game title. Or I could grep for, so in the Unix command line, if I want to do a literal tab character, I could do Control V. Oh, geez. Never mind. I guess that only happens in my own command line. I guess Prairie Learn pastes. Never mind. What? Oh, like the actual. Okay, so that's good to know. So in certain Unix environments, you could do Control V to say, hey, I'm going to type in something that's going to be like a literal. And then if you do Control V and then the tab character, it's gonna put a literal tab. I think with grep though, I can do, I think it was dash E, yeah, extended regular expressions. I think that lets me use like so if I do grep dash E, so it's saying, hey, the string I want you to match, it's going to use the extended regular expression, like set of symbols. I think here I can specify like the /t like you do in Python, and I believe it'll match. Oh, no, it doesn't. Darn it. Let's see. Is it lowercase e? Oh, can we use, ooh. So someone asked, can we use like in like $ bracket /t? So yeah, so for folks that might not be familiar, so in Bash, the $ followed by something is like your way of using like special symbols or variables or stuff like that. So like in Bash, I can have variables as well. So I don't know, does it work? Let's try it. Would this be a tab limit? Nope, it doesn't work. Or maybe if I do it like this. Nope. But let me see. Is it lowercase e? Oh, I think it was lowercase e. Whoops. Let's try that. Nope. Let's see. Match, tab, character, grep. When in doubt. And my keyboard's not letting me do the Control V tab. Let's see. Oh, is it -p maybe? So what is -p? Perl regular expression. Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay. So I guess it was -P. And like, yeah, grep, like anything beyond the basics, I always have to look up and I'm always surprised. Awesome. Yeah, go for it. Yeah. Ooh, good questions. The question was like, when I did this, is there a reason why I did? So this was when I printed the number of like games per year. So I did reverse and then I cut the first column and then reversed it again. My recollection, and this could be incorrect, but to my knowledge, I don't know how to extract just the last column in cut, but I know how to reverse it and extract the first column. So I could just count how many columns I have to go and then specify like 7 in this case. But actually that's a good thing to double check. And cut, do it from the end. Yeah, so I don't know if cut can, oh. So I think what that does, so yeah, so the question was like, what about this one? So I think that's doing it in the similar syntax as like Python's, like if I have my string like this, where it starts from the beginning and then goes to a given column. So I think what that's going to do is if I do, let me remove a bunch of these. So let me go back to the basics. Yeah, so I think if I do like cut -f, like -2, yeah, it starts from the beginning and goes until column 2. So I think if I wanted the last column, I would have to reverse, cut the first one, and then reverse again. I think. I don't know how to do it otherwise. Yeah, great question. Oh, $lowercase e, $, and then are those like the character to the left of, wait, no, are those quotation marks or are they? Yeah, like apostrophes. Oh. So what is $lowercase e? So $lowercase e was regular expression pattern. So maybe that's a regular, yeah. So once we get into like regular expressions, then I'm kind of lost. But regular expressions are very powerful to learn. So if you could learn them, they're very, very useful because you can basically like, instead of matching a specific string that we're looking for, you could define a pattern that anything that matches that pattern would match. So like, for example, if I wanted to extract the lines that start with the let's see, what's a good way? So like if I wanted all the lines that start with let's see, maybe all the lines that begin with, so I think every single game starts with NUS, and then it's going to be 4 characters. So NUS hyphen 4 characters, which could include digits, hyphen, and then a region. So if I wanted to specifically pull just the USA ones, one thing that I could do, oh, my thing freeze, why is it not? Oh, geez. What's happening? Do I still have internet connection? I think I have internet connection, yeah. Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay, so what I could do, and I think here grep dash lowercase e would do it. So I think I could do NUC hyphen, and then it was 4 things that were what's the way to do this? I think in regex I could do A through Z, A through Z, and then digit. And then I think it's 4 and then USA. Let's see if that works. Oh, geez. Oh, I forgot to. Nope. Okay, either way, if you were better at regular expressions than I am, you could come up with a regular expression that describes this pattern, and then you would be able to use that instead, which is also a nifty trick to have. Yeah, go for it. Yeah. Ooh, good question. So is there a way of like getting the total number of columns? So basically, your question would be, what command would output 7 here?
Getting 1 row.
Good question. So let's try that out. So that's a good next challenge. So let's say I have this big file. I can't look at it all. I don't know how many columns are in it. I know it's delimited by tabs, but maybe in some other files like commas or something like that. How can I see how many columns there are? So the way that I would personally do this, which I don't know if there's a better way to do this, but this is easy enough. What I could do is, so at our disposal, one of the commands that I like to use is the WC command, which is word count. It can either count the number of characters or the number of words or the number of lines. And in my mind, I'm imagining, well, what if I could count the number of columns in the first row? So let me start by seeing, how do I extract the first row? Well, there's the head command, which I could specify -1 to only extract the top row. Okay, I got the top row. And I guess now I don't have a bunch of stuff, so I don't have to keep piping to less. And then, if there's a way for me to count the number of tab characters, that would be nice. There probably is, but what I like to do is you could use TR, which is translate, and you can translate one character into another character. So what if my end goal is I know how to count the number of lines. So what if I could transpose this? How could I transpose this? I could convert every tab character into a new line character. So now they're all vertical. And then I could pass that to WC, and then -L gets me just the number of lines. And that would tell me 7. There might be other ways. So for a lot of these, and that's why, like for the lab assignments, the Unix things, when I was asking you to do like all sorts of stuff, you have a lot of flexibility on how you do them, just because I'm sure there's a cleaner way to do this in one pass. But yeah, there's a lot of solutions to a lot of these. Would using awk be recommended? So if you know how to use awk is very powerful. I suck at it, but you should practice it. So do as I say, not as I do. If you can learn, so awk is basically like a mini like programming language that you could do a lot more sophisticated stuff like in a single pass. I'm not very good at it, but the better you are at using awk, it helps a lot because you can do a lot more sophisticated things. What I often end up doing is, and this is like very much a like do as I say, not as I do. I usually end up, instead of using awk, I'm good at Python, and I like pipe to Python. So in Python, I could do Python 3-C. And let's say I want to, I don't know, let's say, what's something that's a little harder to do? Oh, let's say like the number of columns. So Python 3-C, and what this is going to do is say, I'm going to type a string right now. Treat this as a Python script that I want you to execute. So between these quotes, I can type in a Python script that it'll like execute. So what Python script could I do? Well, I'm piping, so I could do from sys import stdin. So sys.stdin is standard input. This is an input stream that I can read from. And then I could do stdin dot read line, reads me the first line. And then I can split it on white space characters, or if I want to be more careful, I could do by the tab character, and I have to be careful. My Python script I'm writing is in single quotes. So inside my script, I should use double quotes, or I need to escape a single quote. Otherwise, it'll think I'm ending my script. So that's why inside of here, I'm using single quotes so that it knows that everything, sorry, I'm using double quotes here. So that bash knows everything inside the single quotes is the same script. So let's just start here and let me print what this does. So that prints the first line, and then I could just get the length of it. So do as I say, not as I do. That's a problem where awk would have been much better, but I suck at awk, and I'm pretty good at writing one-liners in Python. Especially if you get comfortable with like Python comprehension, so like list comprehension, set comprehension. Like, what if I want to output the unique, like let's say I want to output the unique years, maybe not the count of them, but just the unique years. What I could do is, so I'm loading standard input and I want to get the unique years. So that would be, so let's see. Let's do length of a set comprehension. So for each line in stdin, or maybe I'll just call it line so it's more obvious. I should use descriptive variable names. Let me get line.split. So maybe let me actually start without the length so that you can see what it's doing step by step. So in Python, you could do a set comprehension where I can actually like define a set in a single for loop kind of in one go. So here, what this is going to do, maybe let me actually undo that part for now. And I'll wrap this all in a print statement so you can see. So this is creating a set where each item in my set is each unique line in my input file. But I don't want the unique lines. I want the year. So the year is in the split it by tab character, bless you, and get the last column. So these are the unique last columns in the file. But I don't want the entire last column. I want the first dash delimited item. So I can split that last column by dash character and get the first index. And then, oh, some of the lines, oh, whoops. There's new line characters that are ruining it because each line ends with a new line character. Let me strip away white space from the edges of my line. There we go. And then, uh-oh, I have release date. So I could do if release date not in line or something like that. Yeah. Super hacky. So again, use awk if you can learn it, that's a good skill, but I also am not very good at it. So I don't like, that's not a learning outcome of this class, but it's my suggestion as someone that has to do these really ugly Python one-liners that could be much cleaner in awk. Yeah, go for it. Sorry? A comprehension. So a comprehension is basically I can write a loop that iterates in a single line of code. If I put it in square brackets, it's a list comprehension. I'm creating a list using a for loop. So like, let's say I want to do, let's open up Python. Let's say I want a list and for I in range 10 nums.add I. Whoops. Append. I get this list, but well, all I'm doing is I want to just have each of those values. So what I could do is nums equals I for I in range 10. So basically put my for loop here and then I'm telling Python for each of these values, this is what I want to use. And you can get even fancier with it. So let's say I want like the Cartesian product of like, let's say I have a bunch of rows and a bunch of columns. So maybe I have like let's say points equals list, and then for I in range 5, for j in range 5, points dot append the tuple I comma j. So now points has like all these like 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 2, blah, 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 all the way to 4, 4. I can actually do this in a comprehension as well. I could do points equals I comma j for I in range 5, for j in range 5, which feels weird that it's kind of like a run-on sentence, but like it works. So if you're not comfortable with comprehensions, that's fine. They are very powerful because you could do like a one-liner that does a lot of stuff. And also in terms of the performance, it's slightly faster because the Python interpreter parses the whole line up front and can do optimizations behind the scenes instead of like having to like keep resizing your array. If you're doing appends, it can like do some clever optimizations. However, readable code is the most important thing. So it's not a big enough difference that like, if this is not readable to you, don't do it. You're better off doing the more lines and like marginally slower nested for loop than writing something that you're not going to be able to remember what it does like a week from now. Yeah, great questions. Any other tasks folks want me to do? Or yeah, go for it. Oh yeah, so here, I just opened up the Python interpreter. So if at a terminal, you just type in like Python 3, it'll open up a Python interpreter where I can do like this is because Python is not a compiled language, it's an interpreted language. So when you run a Python script, it's not like running, like it's not pre-processing your whole script and then like running it in batch. It's like parsing your script line by line and executing it line by line. It does have a syntax parser up front. So if I have a Python script that's like, let's say I have oh geez, this is VI instead of Vim. Oh, there's no Vim. Uh-oh. I should add Vim. Oh, I think I put no Vim because you have the text editor. So I'll just do that. Okay, so let's say I have a Python script that's like print hello, and then I have a syntax error under it. Python will, oh, actually, no, it did do it line by line. Oh, it's not a syntax error. This is it thinks this is a variable name. Let's say, so. There we go. So it doesn't execute every, like, if I have a syntax error, Python does have a pre-processing to verify that your script is valid Python syntax. But in terms of runtime errors, it doesn't know about them. It's executing each line one by one by one, which is why the Python interpreter, if I run Python 3 at the command line, that's equivalent to like, I'm typing Python commands one by one by one. Yeah, great question. So this is super useful if you're doing like a quick and dirty, like, I want to, I don't know, calculate some like summary statistics. So like, for example, after the midterm, I'm going to calculate student grades and then like show you the distribution. And when I'm doing those calculations, I like doing like these quick, open up an interpreter and like do a little bit of stuff. I still typically, unless I'm lazy, I like creating a script to do it, because then if I accidentally mess up and have a syntax error somewhere, I don't want to have to like redo everything. It's easier if I just kind of like fix the script and rerun it. But it is nice for like kind of quick and dirty, like, oh, I can use this as a glorified calculator. Like, I don't know, what is like 42 times 530? I don't know. So it is nice for like little things. Yeah, great question. We have like 5 minutes left. Any other tasks folks want me to do, or any other tools you want examples of, or any other N64 chapter? That one's the only one that I know. Yeah, go for it. Good question. Yeah, how do I recommend improving your Unix and Python skills? practice, practice, practice. So like for me, like clearly this is not a research project. I mean, I'm gonna try to like see if I can get a paper out of it, but it's not related to my bioinformatics research. I just like video games. So like for me, I was like, oh, let me just like write some scripts that help me do this. So I think like any tasks that you do in your regular life, just think of like what are some ways I could use Bash to automate them. So like when I'm calculating student grades or like doing basic things like let me extract all the email addresses from this report. Things like that, I just kind of like practice doing it in Python or Bash. And like eventually you learn like, oh, hey, what is the comprehension? That's cool. And then you kind of like practice it and like figure more stuff out. But yeah, not a good answer, but like practice makes perfect. Yeah. Awesome. Any other questions? And also like feel free. So if you go to my GitHub repo and then go to like /tools, I have a lot of simple tools that I've written for like tasks that I have to do repetitively. So things like given a list of numbers, plot a histogram, or like, yeah, a lot of really random stuff. So feel free to look through these and you can kind of just, for me, it was just like looking at examples of what other people do. It's like histogram. So let's take a look at this. Oh, it's showing you how to use argument parsing in Python. Showing you some matplotlib and seedborn syntax for like the data visualization. This is maybe not a super interesting one. I have some like DNA stuff too. So let's say like remove gaps from a multiple sequence alignment, or oh no, oh dang it, this is using my common. Common has a lot of helpful stuff. So like reading a FASTA file or rolling a weighted die or generating a random string. I also have a repo called teaching that's just scripts that I've written for my teaching stuff. So these might be a little bit more relevant. So things like Prairie Learn. Oh, when I download stuff from Prairie Learn, it gives them in like a weird naming scheme. Whereas I like having your submissions be like student's email address as a folder, and then in that folder, all the files related to that assignment. So I have a script that like it checks usage, so you can learn like, oh, how do I do argument checking in Python in Bash, and then like creates variables and does all sorts of like fancy schmancy stuff like that. So I think just over time, like look at examples. That one's maybe a little bit annoying, but like things like, oh, hey, when I download some points from Prairie Learn and I download the Canvas gradebook and I want to create an import file so I can import your points to Canvas, I have this script that then you can see like how am I parsing CSV files, like what is the logic that I'm using, all that stuff. Cool. Any other questions in the last 2 minutes? No? Okay, we probably end it early. Thanks so much, folks. Any questions from folks on Zoom before I end the Zoom call? Feel free to type in the chat. Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much. And thanks for the tips on all the various Bash things. Awesome. Seems like no questions. So please come to lab section if you want help on the lab, and I will see you all next week.